Boone, if you can hear me, please let me. Yeah, I just got back from about seven students and they told me that they had these pop up. However, they will be interested in I guess knowing I guess a little bit about yourself. If we could start maybe your background, your undergraduate degree, bachelor's degree, stuff like educational background. If that's okay.
Okay, let me. Would you allow me to share my screen? Just prepared one slide. As you know, that my PC was giving some trouble, so I just made it simple.
Understood. I just made you co-host, so you should have that ability to share your screen.
I'm going to go. Yes. Okay, things fine now. Hi. First of all, thank you for inviting me uh, on the session, especially in the month of October, considerably the National Cybersecurity Awareness Month. It is very much important for everyone to be aware of the cybersecurity concepts, principles, methodologies. So our IP, intellectual property, IT resources remain safe. So my name is Mithun Baren. Uh, some people who find it difficult to spell my name just call me Mithun. It's fine. My friends here, they call me they. Some call me Meet. So normally I prefer my my preferred name is Mithun. I am an active CCIE, Cisco Certified Internet Network Expert in routing switching, also a CISSP certified from ISSCO. Apart from that, I used to work for Huawei and I am their level 4 expert in data communication network. I consider myself a network professional rather than a cybersecurity expert because my experiences in network is more than cybersecurity. But there is a story how these two things have influenced in my career, where I have excelled, and this is where I am here to share those experiences. And this is my LinkedIn profile. Anybody who wish to see the profile can. I've shared my link. You can go through. So actually, today I would like to share one thing. Start with the one thing. Why most people ask me that you are a Cisco guy, you have done CCIE and routing switching, then why you opted for the CISSP? So I want to start the reason why I opted for with this story. So the rest of the things, I think it will solve all the puzzles. A few months before, there is a company. I'm not giving the telling their name. In the company, few people are together. All the people are at CXO level, like CEO, CISO, CTO. All the high tech peoples are there, and they invited me also. So the CEO actually joined. They are new, recently appointed, and the company was hit by a massive DDoS attack. Just you can assume that it was around 100 Gbps DDoS attack. It was at the peak. So whole most of the services were down, and there's scarcity. Uh, so network status of network is really horrible. So when CEO looked at the CISO, as he is recently appointed, he just asked, "Look, this DDoS part is belongs to the security, so CISO should take care of this. So what's your opinion on this?" Then the CISO replied, look, I'm a cybersecurity expert, but this DDoS attack is networking related issues, so it is not my terrain. I can't help that much. So I'm not sure what is the perception of the job role in USA, but in our countries, we expect uh, a CISO to deliver, to take care of the organizational whole security issues. But his reply stand everyone. And being a network expert, I can understand because most of the CISOs, they are really following a set of formulas. Look, you need to do this. They are following a guidelines that their seniors approach to them or from their HQ they provided to them. They're following a formulas, they're following guidelines, they're following the best principles, to best standard principles. They're following that. But when something out of blue, when out of their equation arrives, such kind of problem arrives to them, then they really find it difficult because these sort of issues and DDoS issues, uh, especially when you are enterprise, you are in a bank, you, or you are in university or college, you might have the luxury to protect your network. You can be more critical with your network, but especially in a service provider industry like ISP, telecom operators, they cannot block any ports. They have to keep everything open for their consumers so that they can uh, play or they can access any services anywhere, any part of the world. So, so it's very difficult for them. So that moment, the company took my advice, and this is what we actually achieved. I'm showing you the that time. What is the this is if you see the red mark is actually the DDoS attack volume. It starts with the 20 Gbps, then it gradually increases to 42 Gbps. Then next day it increases up to I think it's a 70 Gbps. Then later on it increases up to 100 Gbps. These are actually DDoS traffic. And normally any organization worldwide, if you see that 100 Gbps DDoS attack is immense and it's very difficult to contain your network and protect your network from this huge volume of unwanted traffic. But this is where the job was interesting, and this is what I'm going to share today. So this is the outcome of our protection methodologies that we have followed. So if you see that there were two interfaces we have applied in this interface. Let me point. This interface actually we have not applied any ACL. So when the traffic, DDoS traffic actually hit the router, that moment unwanted traffic increased to 25 Gbps. Actually, this is the capacity of this interface is, I think, maximum 30 Gbps. That's why it's showing 25 Gbps. Actually, so normally traffic is around 2 to 3 Gbps traffic we normally found in this utilization skyrocketed and it moves up to 30 Gbps. If we didn't apply anything, any policies or any security control, this is what was happening in the network. After that, when we apply this is when we applied the security policies. If you see that after that, when the same attack happened, the traffic didn't give spike like this. The traffic was below threshold. Then you can question that, look, the utilization level was like this, then why there is a vacuum in the utilization, because traffic should be like this, but uh, when the DDoS attack happened, the traffic is not reaching to the limit. That means that I am giving you some example why this thing happening. This is an interesting thing. I'm not sure you guys are getting bored or not, but from service provider perspective, these are the interesting points when you are dealing with a problem like DDoS. It's like a thing. Suppose there is an attacker who is sending to a DDoS attack, and this attack went to from here, then it's reflected to our this is our router, we can say. This is our router. Okay, from here the red marks arrows are means that DDoS attack is coming. So when the DDoS traffic is coming to this router, this is one router. Suppose we think that here Facebook, Google, all the services are connected. So from this router, they are sending DDoS traffic as well as they are sending legit traffic. So green mark traffics are legitimate traffics and red marks traffics are DDoS traffics. So if you see that when during the DDoS time, the half of the, because we are receiving 40 Gbps around DDoS traffic that time, and the capacity here is around only 30 to 40 Gbps. So half of the traffic was fooled with the DDoS and half of actually the legit traffic. So when you are blocking those traffic here, that time the router actually discarded all the router or firewall system actually discarded the red marks traffic. It's only allowing the green traffic. As a result, our network is free from DDoS. But what happened that most of our legit traffic, there was a congestion in the network. Even though the network was doing fine, but congestion on network because our upstream, we call them upstream routers who are connected with the internet. They're in their side, they are not they are allowing all the DDoS and legit traffic both. So that's why our interface is getting full with with DDoS traffic. So our pipe is becoming full. So that's why when we are showing this utilization, you will see that this is the valid traffic and the utilization is around half rather than regular usage. So for if you are a security in charge or CISO of a security expert of an organization like bank and of an or enterprise, then you maybe you don't need to deal with all the stuffs because but when you're dealing with the internet provider as a mobile telecom operators, then you need to deal with this traffic, the availability, and those parts. So this is not only you're just putting some firewall and it start to work. You need to do a lot of other steps so that you can fine tune your network. Uh, am I boring? Okay.
I'd like to chime in. No, sir, not at all. In fact, this right here, what I'm seeing on my screen, is exactly what we've been dealing with many of our courses. I've taken cybersecurity one last semester. I'm currently in network administration, and when it comes to the routers, the switches, and servers, this is all things that I'm actually seeing right now this current semester, and it's fascinating. It really is. Thank you so much again for being one of our guest speakers.
Okay, thank you. So let's move on. This is what DDoS. So actually, so we all know that how DDoS attack is actually happening. So I'm just giving a glimpse how the attackers are actually nowadays attacking the network. So I will share my experiences, how we actually resolve the problem, how we actually detect the problems in that network that I am referring, and how one or two solution methodologies that I have followed to make the network kind of free from the DDoS network within budget. This is very important because in security, nothing is 100%, but somehow there is also some constraint, like budget. Organization will provide you some budget. You need to fix all their issues within that limit. We cannot have the luxury to implement too many solutions, and if you implement too many solutions, that will slow the process. So again, your data traffic will be hampered. So this is how the almost, you know, that all the DDoS attack is currently happening. um, these are some percentage. I'm going to directly into what we are actually looking for. So today I will discuss about the amplification attack. Amplification attack is actually nowadays the most of the DDoS attacks which are actually intended to make your network unavailable are actually the amplification attacks. And amplification attacks, there is some example NTP attacks, FTP amplification attacks, and DNS amplification attacks. These are most common amplification attacks that are actually causing havoc in any sort of network. So you need to understand that when a network attack is happening, then you need to first understand what is actually going inside the network. Then you can think about the prevention mechanism. Because if you don't know, you just feel that these look that DDoS is happening. DDoS is a name, but what is inside under this umbrella? What is going on in your network? Most of the people, it is hard for them. For most of the people to identify what is causing the havoc. I'm telling you why, in the next slides, why it is difficult for them to understand what is going wrong in the network, except seeing the utilization graph. Uh, okay, this is some kind of a DNS amplification attack. I just give some sample. I will come back when in future. Okay, I think better we should give a touch. If required, we'll come back, do slides, and tell more details. Like how it is called a volumetric attack. Normally, a volumetric attack means that when suppose 100 Gbps attack, like 50 Gbps attack, 20 Gbps attack, this kind of attack actually are volumetric attack. Their intention is to send huge traffic to your network to make the network unreachable or at least slow. If cannot make yourself unreachable, then it will make yourself slow because the available bandwidth will be consumed by the DDoS, by this unwanted traffic, and so every users and all the resources will be slow. So how this happen? Actually, when the attackers send one request, DNS query request for one particular domain to the DNS server, actually while sending this request, it gives the source address is used another company IP address or victim server IP address. Like as if I'm an attacker, I want to send DDoS traffic to you, then what I'll do, I will send DNS query to Google, but I will use source address of yours. So when Google will send the reply, it will send to your address only. So using this formula, there are what I can say, there are 68,000 or 69,000 DNS servers globally. So if I send all those servers, or at least 200 or 300 servers at a time from different agents, and those 300 servers replying to your IP address, that time it will cause a DDoS attack, DNS amplification attack. This is one of the most popular methods. We can see that suppose for a 3 Mbps query, it will amplify to 10 times. So when DNS server is replying to the victim network, the traffic is becoming 300. Let me find. So when the suppose the attacker sending CMBPS traffic, query traffic to DNS servers, but DNS servers when replying to the victim network, the traffic become amplified to 300 Mbps. So it is around 100 times amplification. So this amplification attack is one of the most critical attack in a network. in any network actually. So globally, there are around 68,000 DNS servers around 193 countries in the database. So in our network, in it also we experience similar kind of DNS attacks. So DNS, you know that DNS is to resolve the website address or any domain address to IP address. So without DNS, uh, you cannot I can say that you cannot run any business, internet business. You cannot browse, you cannot send email, you cannot do anything. Then for a service provider who actually who has millions of customers and they are sending millions of DNS requests and receiving millions of DNS requests. So how you can identify which are the valid DNS reply or which are the legit DNS reply? It is very difficult for you to understand or router to understand, for a system to understand that the what are the valid or invalid DNS packets, because both are DNS replies. Even invalid DNS replies are same as the legit DNS reply. So that's why it is very difficult in a service provider industry to identify what are the DDoS or what are the actual traffic. NTP amplification attack is also same. The most popular NTP amplification attack is get moon list. Get moon list is a command like you are sending a request to the NTP server. Give me the last 600 or something number of IP addresses which are associated with you. So suppose I give you a single comment, but when the NTP server replies, it is around the amplification around 20x, 20 times. So suppose I'm sending the 3 Mbps query request, the reply is around 60 Mbps. So and when I forge the source IP address with your victim IP address, then all the request is going to the victim server. This is also same. NTP is also another critical protocol that all equipments are using for synchronizing the timing. In ISP network, like you have your smart TV, we all have our smart TVs, and we actually don't know which NTP server our smart TVs are actually syncing, because when in our network we try to capture data, we try to analyze it. So we found that our users were around 1 million and 1 lakh NTP servers were used by the uh, smart TV users. So it is very difficult to find out which NTP servers are which were used by the which smart TV providers or smart TV vendors. So this is another critical components because that's why you cannot identify what are the same thing, what are the legit NTP reply, what are the DDoS NTP reply. So now these two problems, the attackers also know that these are the vulnerable points that it is very difficult for you to understand what is going on inside the network. So they are exploiting the vulnerability of these two protocols, these two critical UDP-based protocols, and they are attacking to any network. And if you hear about any DDoS attack, then you can consider that these two items should be there. That's must. Sorry. This is another type of attack that I have encountered. This is called fragmentation attack. This is another interesting attack. Like if you sometimes you can think that suppose you have a firewall in your network. Suppose I say to you that look, DNS or NTP, these are the two items that causing the DDoS attack. So you just drop them. Then what will you do? You will just simply in your firewall, you just drop DNS and NTP. And so you also understand that the consequences, but for the time being, let us just assume that your job is to drop all these two ports. So you have dropped. But do you think you're safe? Actually, then the second, then attackers, what will they do? Actually, they're using another problem in IP fragmentation. IP fragmentation means, as you have already gone through the networking concepts, suppose there is a packet of 2000 bytes. So we normally know that our IP traffic has 1500 bytes. One single packet length surrounds 1500 bytes. So still there are 500 bytes left. For that 500 bytes, router sent another packet. So for a single 2000 bytes request, router sending actually two packets. First one is 1500 bytes and second one is for 500 bytes, and some overhead is there. For simplicity, let us assume that first packet is 1500 bytes and second packet is 500 bytes. So what actually happened in the first packet, if you see, I'm not sure whether you are able to see. This is there are two packets. If you see, first packet is you consider 1500 and second packet is you consider 500. It is single packet, but router fragmented because we know that router has a MTU size limit. So he cannot send more than 1500 for normal standard MTU size. MTU means the maximum transfer unit. So if there is a 2000 byte packet, router split it into two packets. So if you see in the first packet, the protocol is only IPv4, and in the second packet, the protocol is TFTP. So what is the interesting point is it is protocol is IPv4. Actually, it means normally you know that in the router in the any packet there is a shorts IP, destination IP, there is a shorts port and destination port. In this first packet there is only shorts IP, destination IP, there is no destination port. In the second packet, which is this one, there is shorts IP, destination IP, and the destination port. That's why it is showing the TFTP. But the first packet, there is no destination port. So that means when a packet, suppose it is the NTP packet, you already configured to block NTP in your firewall, or you configured DNS, filtered DNS with the port number in your firewall. But when attacker send two packets, then the first one will be get into the firewall, because when he looked into the port, there is no port information for the first fragment. Port information is available in the second fragment. So only the second packet is blocked, but the first packet will be passed through the firewall. So this is an interesting point when you think that how attackers are actually fooling you, fooling most of the vendors or most of the firewalls when it is configured that. This is why the nowadays, like before, our network was, we are really relying on the firewall only. But nowadays, due to this technique, uh, a single packet, attacker actually make it convert it into two packet, and first packet is always get into the firewall, because there is no port information, so no firewall can actually detect with the port information, and so it passed through. Second one is only blocked, so is still attacker able to penetrate your system. So this is the interesting attack. This is called fragmentation attack. The attacker again exploiting the weaknesses in our IPv4 protocol, and they are utilizing it to their fullest. Okay, so far so good.
So far, it's been amazing. I had a quick question.
Sure, sure.
In your field of, I guess, with your experience and everything, what has been one thing that you've come across in terms of the cybersecurity attack, whether it's phishing, DDoS, malware, um, a simple virus getting into someone's system? What's been the most common, I guess, threat in terms of
Oh,
cybersecurity that you have faced most commonly?
uh, right. Let me honest. Maybe in USA or North America, it might be different, but in Asian countries, security is still is not the mandatory part. Like the having the uh, anti-malware system or antivirus, pirated software is still the reality in those in Asia, most of the Asian countries. I think at least not in Asia, then of course in South Asia or China, cyber counterfeiting, those things are still relevant. So most of the time I face uh, DDoS and the phishing, red, especially email phishing, these sort of problems we actually face in our network. Okay, thank you. Uh, now, so this I just gave some short introduction about so far what is the background of that event. Event means that DDoS attacks, the impact of the DDoS attacks, and there are some sample we discussed about DDoS. Like DNS amplification attack, amplification attack, and fragmentation attack. These three attacks we have already we encountered those attacks, and we found that a severe damage happened due to those attacks. And after understanding this, then we tried to solve and mitigate them. So, so now I'm in a phase how actually we detect in this network it is happening. Suppose you think that you don't have that much of data analytics or anything. So in router, there per second, there may be 2 millions or 3 millions, 10 millions packets are coming in. So how to identify which DDoS, which protocols are actually causing the trouble, what type of attacks are going on. You need to have your full-fledged system. So in my case, we didn't have because the company was not that old and they don't, as I said, their security is not their primary objective. Security is secondary parts, investment and budget there is always less. So, so then,
My apologies for that. Continue, please.
okay, so shall I continue?
Yes, sir. Someone just must have joined, left their microphone on. It's okay.
Okay, that's great. Okay, for who just joined, I think we have discussed already 10 minutes, I think 10 to 15 minutes. Myself, Mithun Baren. Let me go to the first slide to make a short introduction about me. Myself, the CCIE, Cisco Certified Internet Network Expert, as well as I'm a CISSP professional. I'm a networking professional. Actually, I'm working in networking industry and security, I think for around 15 years, mostly in Bangladesh. Currently, I'm in Canada, exploring new life. Let's see what will happen. So today's, I'm thankful to all of you guys for having a session where I'm able to share my knowledge how to deal with the DDoS attacks that I have practically experienced. Because most of the time people talk about when you go to any you want to listen to any cybersecurity expert. Even I had a similar problem when I started preparing for CSP. The most of the things are theoretical. Uh, there is no practical examples. You need to so many things you need to cram. It's very difficult for actually it is very difficult for me. So today, so actually my objective was to share some practical experiences how in reality you you can deal with these sort of attacks if you face in your network. Similar topics I have already shared in multiple places, even in Dalhousie University where I am currently working in. And yes, many people appreciate it. There are some Atlantic Security Conference, and there are some people also showed interest at how we worked in this uh, project. So I think it would be beneficial for all of you. So if you guys think I can repeat the stuff, or I can start from where I left.
Let's see. I had a quick question. We were curious if, okay with you, if you'll be able to, I guess, share with us or at least send me via messenger the PowerPoint presentation.
Okay, that's great. I would say better send to you so that if there is any questions, maybe we can have a follow-up session later on. So we are here. I have shared some protocol levels. There are three protocol level attacks we actually faced. One is DNS, one is NTP, one is fragmentation attack. But now the important point is how actually we identified what kind of attack is going on in the network. So this is so for this normally there are, we don't need to worry, because I hope that wherever organization you work, you will be working in, there must be some sort of platform where people can analyze using some net flow, S flow, some kind of flow. But in where I used to work, they don't have any such sort of arrangements. Then what I did, I learned Python. I used to learn, but I actually code for this. So my job is to capture the packets from network in normal time and in DDoS time. So normal time, this is a sample. The code I prepared, which actually shows some it capture packets from the system, from the router, and itself analyzed how what type of packets. These are the 16 DDoS vectors that I have identified and I have analyzed using Python, and I find that in normal time the attack vectors are responding normally, and it looks like network is normal. It is the normal scenario. And when there is the attack time, then you will see that some parameters give a high spike. So if you see that the 11 number parameters, 11 actually is the NTP response count. So this tool that was built by me, it can be easily built by anyone, actually helped me to identify what is going on inside the network. In most of the cases, people struggle with. Here, whenever I am able to decode the packets, because millions of packets, it's not possible for anyone to go through and make analysis. So you need to take some software help. Uh, so what I did, so the advice is, I hope that you guys are already expert in Python, or you have already, if anyone is not, then you should learn Python like a scripting language as early as you can, because without these, any networking or any cybersecurity, whatever field you would work in, you will have difficult times. So you need to have a programming language expertise. So this is one sample. There are many samples I took tirelessly, and different time I got different kind of result. So for this result, we found that NTP responses are actually high. That means from here we can understand that in our network currently there are many NTP responses are coming in. So after that, from my tool, we can identify that which IP address actually from where the NTP responses are coming in large amount. So here I can see that from China, the NTP responses are huge. So normally, for a cybersecurity expert, you can assume that China, Russia, South American countries, when the source type is like this, then you can be assured that these are mostly attack traffics. I didn't have that knowledge, but as long as I kept working on this project, then I found this thing to happen. Then the first job is to already we identified what kind of protocol attacks are coming in the network. Um, Before terminating, before make call is rather attack, you need to understand what is the normal time behavior and what is the attack time behavior. Only then you can differentiate whether this situation is attack or anything else. After that, we identified the from which source address or from which source network we are encountering most of the packets. So these things already identified. So it gives us basic fair amount of basic idea what is going on in the in the network, who is the top talkers in the network. So we can have a visibility. The later on is the analysis of these packets. So if you see that the most of these NTP packets, this is the IP address of China. From here we are seeing many NTP packets. As we see seen in the last set, is around 500 to 600 NTP responses are coming from here. Then when you click here in the NTP protocol, you will see that request code is getMon list. GetMon list is actually as I mentioned, it is a command attack type used by the attackers. Just this command will give you the 600 machine IP address from the NTP server. If you send this command to any NTP server, it will give you the last 600 IP addresses that which were associated with the NTP server. So this is heavily used by the attackers and as a worldwide. And the amplification vector, if you see that NTP request is 234 bytes only, whereas the response is around 4,460 bytes. So it multiplied 20 times. So when the victim is receiving those replies, the attack vector is multiplied by 20 times, which is used in terms of NTP responses. So how did we actually solve that? Because you cannot prevent NTP, you cannot stop NTP packets. It is not possible. Even though it is not possible, I have tried. I have tried. How I have tried? I have decided, let us allow only 10 to 20 NTP, which are globally renowned. Let's drop all the other NTPs. So this is the first thing I have done. When I have done it, I'm sharing with you for lessons because we do mistakes and there is no point in learning. With if you don't do any mistake, then you cannot learn. So when you allowed only 10 to 20 NTP addresses and blocked all the other NTP addresses globally, that time what happened? Most of our smart TV users were not able to connect TV. Uh, just this is what happened. Most of the TVs are syncing with their own NTP servers. They have I think the vendors have specified the pool of NTP addresses. So as we have already blocked all the NTP servers from outside, so the smart TV, most of the smart TVs are not able to connect. So we started to receive huge amount of complaints of the smart TV users. So in our network, there was, I think, 1 to 2 lakhs smart TV users, and at least 80 to 90% having difficulty. So even if you wish to block NTP, it was not possible that time. Then what we did, we actually this is the policy that we had deployed there. We actually forced every user in our network to use only our NTP servers. You cannot force, you cannot go to every PC, you cannot configure every TB, or you cannot configure every TB, every PC, every mobile phone NTP servers. It is not possible when you are dealing with many users. Might be 100 users, 200 users, you can do. But when you are dealing with million users, then it's not possible. And in million users, there may be 3 to 4 person in a family. So it is a huge network. So it is not possible to manually configure everywhere. Then what it did, then we actually forced. Actually forced means when any NTP traffic is coming from any PC, smart TV, smartphone, anywhere, we actually forwarding them to our internal NTP server. And just what I can say, if you heard the concept of NAT, we are just forcing that when those NTP requests coming to, it is, suppose if we give an example, and, suppose he is sending one request here. Suppose we consider this is a smart TV. He is supposed to, there is a NTP server in the internet site. He wants to meet with this. He actually sync his time with this NTP server. Now, if we allow every NTP servers globally, it is not possible. Then we need to filter this. Otherwise we cannot protect our network for NTP amplification attack. Then what it did, suppose when he's sending, when this device, suppose there are some other smart TV users also, they are connected to a router. When this router receive this NTP request, then normal cases router job is to forward the packets. Router does not do anything. Router just check what is the destination IP, it just forward the packet. But here we made some tweak. When this router receive that from client, we are receiving NTP packets, it redirects all the NTP requests to the NTP server. So normally, suppose here they are using one Chinese NTP server. In normal cases, this NTP request should go to the router, and router just normally forward to the internet, and via internet this request should go to the Chinese NTP server. But in this case, it's not happening. In this case, when and smart TV users or someone, when is sending the NTP packets in the router, we identify that this is the NTP packets, then it forwards this NTP request to our internal NTP server, so that all the requests, no matter who is the destination is, all the NTP requests should be served from our NTP server. We just forced to do that. Because as I mentioned that you cannot allow so many NTP servers, neither it's possible to restrict NTP server. So first we make sure all of our customers, they will use our NTP servers as long as this attack period sustain. Then from this internal NTP server, it will only communicate with the outside NTP servers globally. So no other host from our network will communicate with the outside NTP servers. Only this particular, there is a cluster, there may be 3 to 4 NTP servers. Only these NTP servers will communicate with the globally. So you think that initially we have 1 million users, you need to allow NTP for both all of these 1 million users. We squeeze the request to only 3 to 4 servers. Now everyone is forced to use the internal NTP server, and internal NTP server only communicate outside. So attacker, when he's sending attacks to different IP addresses, we can easily filter in our router. So we can only say that only these servers, these 3 to 4 internal NTP servers will be allowed. Rest of the IP address NTP responses will be blocked. So this is the design we actually made that time to solve the NTP amplification attack. Uh, and it is because it is not possible to go to every PC, as I mentioned earlier, every household to change the NTP. So in the router part, we have done these configurations and we just saved the network from this NTP amplification attack. So if you ask for a cybersecurity expert, then maybe this solution won't be his mind because he doesn't have this idea how this network traffic packet flow occurs. So you need to know if you can be a if you don't have the good understanding about the network, then it is very difficult for you to be a true security expert. I think that's all for now from my side. I just wanted to talk about one mitigation strategy that we followed in the NTP amplification attack. In future, I think if we get opportunity, we can discuss about the how do we resolve the DNS amplification attack and most interestingly the fragmentation attack. These are another crucial attacks that we mitigated that time.
And I want to say yet again, it's been an honor to be able to have you, take time from your day, all the things you do to be able to be here with us virtually through Zoom, speaking with us. Um, I was curious, if we could go back, I remember you were mentioning Python scripting. I do know, as for myself, it is it's a challenge. It's a brand new language, but I've heard from many people, including yourself, that work within cybersecurity, that if you really want to be in cybersecurity, you have to know programming. And they always tell me that Python is one of the language. Could you, I guess, go a little bit more on how and why Python is something that you need to know for a cybersecurity question, please?
It's definitely because for myself, I have programming experiences when I was in school. After that, I just came into the networking industry, and since then, I just stopped doing all this programming. But when uh, when I start working with the CISP after passing the CSP, when I started learning about the cybersecurity concepts, I am planning for OSCP. I hope within next 6 months I would appear for this exam. So when is actually moving into the offensive or pen testing like concepts, then I found that it's really difficult for you, especially when you ask to analyze. Look, you won't be a fresher every time. Someday you will start as a fresher, but you will gradually grow. When you will be a expert, when people call you the expert, on what basis you will be called as expert? You need to give an insight, like a doctor. He just screening your health, then based on that he gives some suggestion, and this is how we cute. But if you don't have the tools, if you don't have the tools, even if you have the tools, you may not know, or maybe it is not giving the output that you are looking for. Then you need to utilize your skill to build out something which is fit your requirement. So with this sort of things, you cannot do without knowing Python like knowledge. Any programming sort of knowledge you need to know, otherwise it will be very difficult, not for a cybersecurity expert. I think it is for network engineers also, especially in the software defined networking arena. You are bound to know programming languages, you are bound to know APIs, the automations. So this expertise you must have, and it is better to start from at the initial level of career, because I know that even I'm in Dalhousie University, similar sort of program, they are teaching many things. but still industry is far beyond than these colleges what they are teaching. Only a real industry gurus who are working in this industry, who survived in this industry, only they can tell you what is the actual requirement.
Perfect, thank you. Another question I have quite a few, just a little warning. Um, Another question I have is, currently I'm a senior at the University of St. Clair Lake. My major's in information technology, my minor's in cybersecurity. One thing that some people have told me that will really look good on a resume, not just look good, but it'll help you stand out from others, is having projects, personal projects. Could you, I guess, speak into that? Maybe if it's helpful. If so, what kind of projects would you recommend a student, um, either does or takes part in that can look good on the resume and stand out?
Uh, Actually, if you ask me, projects will sharp your knowledge, that's for sure. And this is the best thing to do. But when I look at your resume, I'm not sure what is in America or somewhere else. Uh, there are two most important things is that how much experiences you have. In any resume, everybody will look at so people here always ask me. I got many calls from different industries, but as I am continuing my study in, so I have not joined any companies yet. So they said that you have the significant amount of experiences, so you should not have any issue. So experience is the first priority that I came to know. The second thing is, of course, the industry certifications. If you want to stand out, then you should have some industry certification, standard certifications that people admire. Like uh, if you meet with me, then more than my name, I'm telling you that I'm CCI. That means that my name is important to you. It's the CCI or something. It's important, which is actually validating that yes, this man has some strength. This man has done CSP, that he might have some knowledge. So these industry certifications are really important. And third thing is, but you have all these things, but when you go for the interview, then they are asking you questions you are not able to answer. That means that thing you need to cover using your project or practical experiences. If you are a freshers, then people cannot ask you for practical experiences, how many practical experiences you have. Then they will ask you what projects you have done. Right, then you can say that yes, I have done this sort of projects. Fine, then what are the knowledges you have? Uh, because so from that, when you that recently I have done one project here. So IP telephony. I have never ever worked with IP telephony in my entire life, but when I for university I studied for a project for IP telephony, and I have done significant amount of knowledges. Over the years, I was afraid of IP telephony. Now, I can say that I have solid foundation in IP telephony. So only because of project, you will learn more than I think like a not as industry expert, but you at least gain a fair amount of knowledge. So either practical experience, industry certifications, or projects, any three you must have.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome and thanks. Thanks for your time also and for this wonderful opportunity.
Thank you. And also real quickly, I have one of my organization's officers here. Her name is Annabelle. Annabelle, I'm not sure if you had any questions or want to know anything, but
Yeah, so once again, thank you so much. I really appreciate getting to listen to you and all of the things that you had to say. I'm fairly new to cybersecurity. I'm just getting into it, but I am very, very interested in it. So I'm just trying to learn as much as I can right now. My major is computer science with a minor in cybersecurity. Going back to Mike's question on the programming languages, Other than Python, are there any other languages that you think would be really beneficial to get really good at?
I heard some R, but I'm not sure because in industry we are currently Python is the only trend that I have experienced. Right. There are some bash script, PowerShell, but I don't think these are not all platforms supporting. Python is the thing that if you can do, if you can learn, you can work in cybersecurity, you can work in the system. You forget about the software part, but at least networking, cybersecurity, system related work, automation related work, you can do. So, so this is the go-to programming platform, I think, right now.
Okay, thank you very much.
Welcome. So it is wonderful. You guys are keen to build your knowledge in cybersecurity. For me, actually, I can share my experience in I think what I can say. My understanding about cybersecurity was not that great. I just wanted to be in this field because I was to be a network engineer, so and completed CCI. Then after that, I was thinking that what should be the next? There should be always the next. Otherwise, our life there should be a full stop. So as a continuation process, then I was thinking what should be the next. Then I was thinking that I should move to security field. Then I Googled and people are talking about the CISSP is the biggest thing. So I made my mind and I should go for CISSP. So when I was preparing, some people heard they told me that why you are preparing, you are not good enough for to pass the CISSP. You need to know so many things, this and that. You need to have bunch of experiences. You need to pass CISA, so many things. Actually, I didn't have that much idea about cybersecurity also. Yes, because we learned during our work process, but cybersecurity is a vast field. It is not only security is one part of this cybersecurity, but cybersecurity is a vast field. So I just want to try to told them that I don't know whether it will help me or not. But I want to get into this field, and I found that CISSP is the best thing. So I am not going to university or any college. So the best thing I should go for CISSP. In due process, I may learn something from this course, which is the most important thing. I guess I learned a lot from CISSP, and even after passing CSSP, people told that why did you waste your time and money? There's no point. This and that. People kept telling you many things because it is their assumption about life. It is not me. It is not mandatory for me to accept their views. I know maybe sometimes I am at that moment I started thinking, okay, fine, no problem. If this thing is useless, at least I believe that knowledge can never be useless. If I am not in the cybersecurity field, I may not be here. I'm not sure whether my 2 lines impacting you or not. I'm not sure. Maybe in future, someday, somewhere, maybe some of you guys will find my advices beneficial. Maybe this is how life, the universe, my nature wanted me to deliver. Maybe this is the only purpose. Whatever. If you have the knowledge, you can sustain. That's important. Whether it is directly impacting your job or not, you cannot know. You can never know. And in my life, CSSP paid me back because I can tell you that this was so challenging that in my country, there is only me who has passed this CCI and CSP. There is no one. No other person dared to take 2 different challenges because these are 2 North Pole and South Pole like thing. So, but the most important thing is that when you have the knowledge, this is your seniors mentioned that you need to do some projects. So actually, when you try to make some projects, then it definitely you need to know outside of your book. So which is important. So when you know outside of your book, definitely the knowledge will be there and you will feel yourself confident. which is, I think, which is the key. When you're going to crack an interview or not, when you're going to face any situation, you will be, of course, you will find yourself confident.
Thank you. Um, I hope, well, I hope the weather doesn't get too cold over there in Canada. Winter is coming without a doubt, and I've seen videos. You know, you gotta shovel the snow off your vehicle. It's all over the place.
I
I'm
think
currently
from
in
January,
Houston.
actually, I came here in January this year, so it's only 10 months. So right now it is cold, but it's not that cold that you are describing. It is just around 10 degrees or something like that. It's still manageable, I think. But when we came into first time in Canada, honestly, uh, when I tell anyone that where you are going, I said Canada. Oh, it's too cold, too cold, too cold. Everybody says the same thing. It's too cold. So we brought at least 5 to 6 jackets for each of my family members. So all our luggage is almost occupied with those jackets. So finally, when we came in this place, we saw that only 2 jackets were used. The rest of those jackets are still in the luggage. So we were cursing other people. Why you told that Canada is so cold? It is still okay. So it's not that cold. I would invite you someday to have a visit. Surely would love to meet with you guys.
Definitely, and I'd love to invite you also. I'm not sure. Have you ever been to Houston, Texas, by any chance?
No, I think.
Highly recommend it, especially if you're into you know, I guess it's not what you think. It's not, you know, we're not all on horses and cowboys and all that. You'll see it, but that's not all of it. We have an amazing culture, amazing vibe. We are home to Johnson Space Center,
Okay.
which is one of our, in my opinion, one of the greatest things about Houston. Unfortunately, our baseball team did just suffer a loss from the World Series, but they're one of the best baseball teams in the world, in my opinion. And yeah, definitely we have incredible barbecue. Definitely, in my opinion, the best barbecue you get in Houston, you get in Texas, no matter what.
That's great. Definitely, I would love to meet with you, and surely we'll make a plan someday in future.
Perfect.
Okay, guys. Thank you. Would love, and thanks for your time.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Sure. Bye then. Take care.
Hi, you too.